Hello everybody, the Great Dino Ranger here again, back with another review. Today we're going to be taking a look at the Jurassic World Rebirth, Gigantic Thrashers, Chilantaisaurus. So, here we have another item from Christmas, and this is a brand new species from Mattel, a brand new species, and I'm super stoked to have a new species in my collection, because it's always a good thing to have a new species added to the collection, because I'm someone that wants to have every single species, at least one of each, in my collection. So this Chilantaisaurus is a very nice addition to my collection, even though it's a dinosaur that I personally have never even heard of until this toy. So I'm very pleased that I'm also being educated by all these different dinosaurs that I myself didn't even know, for someone who loves dinosaurs so much. So this is also kind of special because this is my very first Gigantic Thrashers figure from Mattel. So for the Rebirth line, so I'm really happy to finally have one. I'm still missing like 3 others, but still, this is really nice. Brief look at the packaging. It's your standard Rebirth packaging. Nice colors, nice sunset in the background with the jungle. You can see how the action feature works up there. The Rebirth logo, Gigantic Thrashers, Chilantaisaurus, the Spinosaurus, and the Mattel logo. And, just your standard Rebirth packaging. And you got the Rebirth logo right there, as well as on the other side. And then here in the back, a lot of nice stuff as usual. You got a nice render of the figure. You got Gigantic Thrashers, Chilantaisaurus, and it's part of the land assortment, obviously. Total thrashing action, because it's got a really cool action feature. All around chomp, the Mattel logo. And it's got some facts up information, as well as the Rebirth logo. And the other figure from this wave, this is part of the wave 2, which is the Purosaurus. Looking forward to getting that one someday. But yeah, really excited to take a closer look at this figure, so let's go ahead and open it up. Alrighty, so here we have the Gigantic Thrashers Chilantaisaurus out of the box. And one thing that stands out to me on this dinosaur, other than the fact that it's one that I've never heard of before seeing the first images of this toy, is the colors. I absolutely love the colors on this one. They stand out very nicely, in my opinion, and I think Mattel did an excellent job on this figure. I mean, for a mainline figure, the paint job is really good on this one. I'd probably say one of the best paint jobs I've seen on a mainline dinosaur from Mattel throughout their entire time of these years of making these figures. I think this is definitely one of the best paint jobs applied to a figure. I think everything just complements each other very nicely, and it's kind of like in a naturalistic way in a little bit, because it's just like, it's really cool looking. I really do love the way the paint job looks, and the overall silhouette and design of this dinosaur is really good too. The proportions are pretty nice overall. The tail could have been, a tad bit longer, obviously, but I really love these smaller feet sculpted on this figure. It's definitely a lot better proportionate, or a lot more proportionate than previous toys from like the first couple years that Mattel owned the Jurassic line. So yeah, the feet here are much smaller, and it looks really good. So yeah, very happy with this Chilantaisaurus, and it's the only one I have of this species in my collection. So from what I could remember, because I had to look this up before starting the review and everything, but Chilantaisaurus is, I forgot the name, but it's supposedly, or I guess it's possibly, belonging to the same group of dinosaurs that does contain Neovenator. I forgot the exact term they used to describe that family group, but it is a theropod dinosaur that lived during the Cretaceous, and I believed it was described in, I think, in the 1960s at some point, maybe 1964, 63, one of those two is when this dinosaur was officially described. But yeah, belonging to the Neovenator type of group. That itself is pretty interesting, because a lot of these like basic theropod dinosaurs always have trouble trying to figure out what type of animal group that they belong to. So based on what I found on the internet, I'm going to stick with that unless I'm told otherwise. So, but detail wise, let's go ahead and take a look at the detail of this figure. Enough with me rambling about that. But here at the head sculpt, it looks really nice. I love the elongated skull, and I like how it's fairly thin. Sometimes Mattel doesn't do thin snouts for some reason. They like to make them wide. This one is still wide, but at least it just feels a lot more thinner compared to others, which is really nice. But I really like the detail on it, like especially on the face right here. Nice little scale detail kind of throughout the skull right here with some nice bumps kind of spread out. Nice detail around the eyes and the nostrils. I like the little armored plating type of skin or scales up here, how they kind of overlap with each other, which is really cool. Kind of reminds me of the back of the original Gigantic we got from Mattel. And the little crest right here, kind of very bumpy and nicely textured, you know, as if they were covered in keratin like in real life. But yeah, really nice detail right there. Mattel will never do a bad sculpted figure in terms of detail. That's just facts right there. And here at the lower jaw, nice amount of scale detail right here. Just looks really good. Mattel has just been improving over the years, and I just can't wait to see like how it looks even like the next 2 years from now. But yeah, scale work really nice here in the lower jaw. Nice little bumps or osteoderms sticking out from the side of the jaw right there. Inside of the mouth, the teeth are nicely sculpted, and they're molded in this separate rubber molding, so they're not painted, but they are molded in this color, so they're not going to scuff. I love this idea that they've been doing with these figures, and how they're kind of soft too, but also sharp. They look sharp, but they're actually really soft. The inside of the mouth, the tongue is nicely sculpted, nice little bumpy texture on it, nice little texture on the roof of the mouth too. And one thing to notice is that the texture on the inside of the mouth and the tongue is very like smooth, but also kind of like slippery at the same time. So it has like that nice saliva kind of feel to it. Plus it's covered in like this glossy coat of paint or something on it to kind of make it shine. So it looks like it's actually covered in saliva or it's wet like that. Kind of like give it that realistic look to it. So I really do like that a lot. And I apologize, it is windy out here, so hopefully you guys can still hear me. Moving on to the neck, you got some nice wrinkles in the skin right here around the throat area. Nice scale detail on there as well. And then here at the top, you got some more bumps in the skin, some nice creases in the skin itself. And all over the entire back, you got this, kind of like what you got on the head here, just a nice row of like these spiny armored osteoderms on its tail. And it looks really good. Again, it reminded me of that very original Chilantaisaurus figure that we've gotten from Mattel. And it just looks really good, really nicely sculpted. And some nice little bumps kind of sprinkled on there as well. Some little osteoderms, which look really nice. Just kind of brings out and makes the figure pop, in my opinion. So you got more of that here on the neck. And everywhere else on the body, you got some just nice, beautifully done sculpted scales here all over the side of the body, which looks, you know, really good. And Mattel added again with their really good sculpting skills. So I really do like that a lot. And then moving on to the tail, you got some more spread out osteoderms and bumps throughout the rest of the tail. And they kind of stick out a bit more here at the tip of the tail. And these little ridges here along the spine just all of a sudden morph into like these larger spikes towards the tip of the tail, which is cool because it does give it like a really cool little silhouette. So I really do like that a lot, how they just kind of morph into these giant spines, and they look really good too. Made of somewhat of a softer plastic material, but still really cool and nice, beautifully done scale detail throughout the rest of the tail right here. So that itself looks really good. Even on the underside, really nicely done. It's not as smooth on the bottom like previous figures. It's actually really nicely done with the sculpt work. So I really do like this a lot. Really nicely done there. And you can see the nice amount of muscles kind of poking through the skin right here. Like see along the tail right here, and along the stretch marks of the skin, and along the legs and the arms. Even here along the body, kind of like where you can see the shoulder blade and all that. Just some really nice detail in the skin just to kind of give it that real life, realistic look. Now for the arms are really cool looking, very big and very muscular. Nice amount of scale detail on them, some larger scales kind of sprinkled throughout, and some smaller ones towards the bottom of the arm right there. And the hands look really good too. I like the big, nice, long and sharp claws, nice ridges on the fingers. On the inside of the hands, they're nicely done too with nice scales. I like how they're positioned in the realistic way where they're facing inward instead of being pronated, so I like that a lot. I like how Mattel likes to add some realistic, paleo-accurate things to their figures, even though most of their figures aren't exactly 100% identical to their real-life counterpart. I still like how they apply some like real-world stuff to their figures, so that's very much appreciated. Then here for the hind leg, nice amount of scale detail all throughout the entire leg. Nice muscles poking through the skin as well. Some nice larger clumpy bumps of skin or scales up here. Might be osteoderms, but really cool. Gives like a nice little texture to it. And it's kind of sprinkled throughout the rest of here. The rest of the leg is nicely sculpted as well. And the feet look really good. I like how they're smaller and proportionate. You can see the Jurassic logo right there. It's a nice little fine, you know, texturing or detail on the bottoms of the foot. Same with this one. You got the scan code as well. So that's really nice. And here you see this, the foot just looks really nice. Nice little ridges on the toes. Nice sharp looking claws. And the dew claw is really cool too. I like how it's really long and sharp and it just kind of bends that way. So yeah, you definitely do not want to be kicked by this dinosaur for sure. But yeah, really nice sculpt on this Chilantaisaurus. So I'm very, very pleased with it. Now, in terms of the colors, like I said before, I absolutely love the colors. Everything just works. It's like, it's primarily like has like this really bright colored head and it kind of fades into like this black color. All the color choices they chose for this figure just work really well. And it's kind of a naturalistic way in my opinion. So really cool. I like how the head is primarily more brightly colored just to make it stand out. You know, you could say this is a male because it's brightly colored to attract females. So that itself is really cool. The primary head is like this white color. You got some black markings around the eye and the kind of stripes all over. I like how the black color kind of surrounds the red eye with the slit of a pupil, I believe, and that makes it stand out, especially with the white head. And then you got some nice purple striping or splotches here at the tip of the snout as it kind of fades into like this black color. That looks really good. I really do like that a lot. And then here at the lower jaw, you got some more of this red color along the edge of the jaw, and it kind of fades into like this gray color. So that's really cool. Like, I feel like Mattel put a lot of colors into this figure, more so than others that they've done before. So that is a huge plus right here. The colors is easily a 10 out of 10 on this figure. Inside of the mouth, the teeth are molded in a separate off-white color, and then in like a fleshy color on the inside of the mouth. You know, pretty typical from other Mattel figures. Move on to the neck, you got some more of this white color, same with the head. And you got some more of that red on the throat as it kind of stripes down. So I really do love when they do like red on like the throat and all that. So like they did it super good with the Real Feel Giga, which we'll be reviewing later. But I really liked how they did it like that. And I like how it kind of fades into the jaw. That just makes it look really good. And you got some gray striping up here. Maybe the same, yeah, I think it's the same color as they did for the tip of the jaw right here. And then you can see some of the black kind of fade in, and then the rest of the body is black. But I do like how the white kind of fades in, not really fades in, but goes into the chest a little bit. And then the white kind of transitions into like these little striped, splotchy patterns on the back. So I really like how everything just kind of blends in and just works together in like a really cool naturalistic way. So I really do love that. The colors really nicely done. And I know the rest of the color is just all black and you got some white here on the body, but I think it works good. Sure, you could say this white color could have continued on the underside, right? Or maybe some more stripes on the legs and on the tail. But for the way this one looks, I think it's not too bad that there isn't any other paint in addition to the black all throughout the rest of the body. So I think this is still good regardless. And I really do like the additional white striping here on the arms on both sides. So that itself is really good. Now obviously the hand claws and the toe claws are not painted, but that is okay because this dinosaur is molded in a black color. So it's gonna look like they're painted anyway. So that is a-okay by me. So yeah, colors and sculpt, easily a 10 out of 10 on this figure. Now for articulation, again, there isn't a whole lot because a lot of it is due to the action feature. For the arms, they can pivot in and out, and they're kind of made of a softer rubber, though a bit more stiff, I would say. Yeah, everything else is tied to the action feature, but the arms can move basically in and out. Very windy here. And then here for the hind legs, they can just move forward and backwards. Very typical, and they kind of have like this ratchet effect, so they pause at different stations, so it's easier to pose it and all that. So that's much appreciated as well. No swivel for the tail, at least on mine, for the tip of the tail that way. And then there is a swivel for the ankles, but as you know me, I kind of refuse to use those unless I'm having a hard time standing a dinosaur up, which this one, stability wise, stands perfect. So that is obviously a good sign right there. Now for the action features, this is my first Gigantic Thrasher of the Rebirth line, and a lot of the figures here are just have a bunch of action features based on the movement of the tail. So it's pretty much like our old school Primal Attack toy line from 2020. Really do love that toy line still. I just love the realistic movements you can get with the dinosaurs with the tail. And this one is just as good. I absolutely love the mechanism on this one. So based on the movement of the tail, you can move the tail down. And as you can see, the arms move up and down. The neck moves up, and then the jaw opens and snaps shut. So like it's snapping at something. You can move the tail down, and the same thing is applied. You can do it like that. It just goes in the opposite direction, and the arms even move back, so that is really cool. But plus, you got some twisting motions. You can twist it to the right. So the arms don't move, but the head and neck do. Same gimmick as the other ones. And then you can make it go left. It's the same thing. But what's really cool is that you can do it like that, but you also got some really lifelike movements. Like you can do this. Like, look at that. I can just like play around with this all day. It's almost like you have your own little animatronic. Really good for toy movies, I would say. You can make it go like that. Just has like this really nice little like puppeteering gimmick to it. So I really love that. That's really cool. It may not be helpful for picture taking unless you put like a stick in a joint to keep the jaw open, but for playability and for maybe movie making, this is really good, and I really do love the way this one moves. So really cool, really love this Chilantaisaurus figure. Now for comparisons, just very brief comparisons. We got a human figure, we got Dr. Henry Loomis here. Not very familiar with how big Chilantaisaurus is supposed to be. Again, this is a dinosaur I never even knew about before this figure was made. So this could be an accurate size, but again, sometimes Mattel makes their figures a little too small or sometimes a little too big. So it's kind of hard to tell. I'll have to look this up after I'm done doing the video. But overall, the scaling does look pretty good. A nice giant theropod dinosaur for your human characters to run away from. Since this one is apparently part of the grouping that belongs to a Neovenator, we got Neovenator right here that Mattel made for their 2024 toy line, Epic Evolution. And yeah, they look pretty good together. I'll just put the little crest up so there you go. But yeah, these two look really nice together. Nice, they complement each other very nicely in my opinion, for somewhat being in the same group. Obviously they don't look like they're in the same group because they're like very differently sculpted, but you can kind of see the difference in the sculpt a little bit. The feet are much bigger on this one, and this one they're a lot more proportionate and smaller. But I do like their arms. They're big, muscular, and they're in their same, like their accurate position. The heads are obviously a lot different as well. This one's a bit more blocky, I would say, maybe a bit more stylized, has a bit more of an animated look to it. This one's probably a bit more realistic, but still very cool to see these two together. So everyone, that's about to wrap it up for this review of the Jurassic World Gigantic Thrashers Chilantaisaurus. If you're someone who's interested in picking up all the different species from Mattel, obviously I recommend picking this one up because it's a new species, and you know, duh, you'd need a new species for your collection. If you're not into all these species, then obviously, you know, you don't have to pick it up, but just for a dinosaur perspective, like just for a plain dinosaur figure perspective, I think this one's pretty cool looking. I'd recommend picking it up. It's a great sculpt, great color scheme, great action gimmick. I'm sure a lot of kids would probably have a lot of fun playing with this. I'll tell you what, if I had these toys when I was a kid playing outside, man, having this puppeteering action gimmick would just make playing so much cooler, in my opinion. But yeah, still an overall a really great figure, 10 out of 10 in my opinion. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this review. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys again for the next video.